to me, it seems like the ability to get experience here is like more accessible than getting experience with the code base of like almost like most other companies. Like it seems like
Yes.
like that's wild. So I was just wondering if you had like other common pathways that people get into the world of crypto, but also I think for an engineering leader specifically, like is that pathway different? Or like would you recommend like get some access and exposure to the technology first and then like is that pathway for them to become an engineering manager and engineering leader within like a crypto company different than somebody who's necessarily just engineering and working on the code?
I actually recommend the same kind of materials, whether it's books, blog posts, decision models, or frameworks, to the engineering managers and technical leads here at blockchain.com as I would at any other company. And so what does that mean? It means actually the framework of how you run an effective high performance team doesn't necessarily change, but understanding the principles of the technology you're working with and who you need to hire into those teams. I think the team composition is key here. The mindset is key. And then having this kind of appreciation of how you're building, as you say, and contributing towards the space and not just the company's tech stack is super important. And so, yeah, I wouldn't say that you have to kind of rethink your whole approach to how you build, manage, and scale teams. I think it's more you tailor it to the space because there are a lot of opportunities out there. There's a lot of accessibility to different projects. And so you want to encourage your engineers to be curious. And so I think like some companies don't want you exposing any of the internals of what you're building, right? And even just at like a high level, component level or architectural diagram, they just obfuscate everything, remove all names, remove any kind of technical details. So when you see some of these presentations, you're like, okay, well, I didn't really know what's going on. It's just one box in a couple of hours, and that doesn't really tell me anything. So I think like there's ways as a leader that you can actually help your teams to contribute back, both technically through code and working with like token or projects, and through just speaking and like doing podcasts, doing videos, pushing out blog posts, and being kind of more open and transparent about what we're doing here, how we approach problem solving, technical architecture, system design, and how we work in the community to actually drive value. And I think that those are kind of key qualities and things that are encouraged and advocated. And if someone wants to speak at a conference or wants to kind of take something that we've done internally and talk about it publicly, I'll help them do that because I think it's important to be able to shout about the kind of key things you're doing. And ultimately, it helps to drive value in the space, right? If someone else then learns from your approach and improves it, you can then learn from their improvement and hopefully take another iteration yourself, right? So there's like this paying it forward mentality, which I think is super important here. And it's kind of driving the whole ethos of the space from the beginning. And yeah, it's something
That
that I
is
personally live
huge.
by.
I just want to make sure we acknowledge that because I think like the having a pay it forward mentality at the like very foundations of like the technology is so different than I think a lot of other spaces that we're seeing. So continue, Lewis, but I was just like that to me is like, whoa.
Yeah, no, I look, I think that more than ever, there's real value in creating content and being able to share knowledge. And the crypto industry is a fun space to work within because people are passionate about the space. They do become evangelical and fanatical, but that means actually they are trying to kind of spread the word to ensure that other people benefit from it, whether that's technically, operationally, whether that's providing utility. And so there's just a lot of people now that are generating this content. There's loads of podcasts, loads of blog posts. A number of members of my team actually have extremely successful YouTube channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. They manage to find time on weekends to do that, all kind of crypto related content. And that's hugely beneficial because the space is still nascent. You're still early. If you want to get in now, you're still early. I think that's kind of something to remind people that I was at an event the other day talking with other engineering leaders, and many of them were like, "Oh, I've missed the boat now. It's too late." I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! You have really misunderstood the space." So that went on to kind of an hour conversation about why they're not early and actually why there's so much growth opportunity here. If you get in now, there's still so few people, engineers, leaders, companies, still in the space relative to all of software engineering, or even relative to like fintech, relative to like one specific domain of technology that's kind of grown over the last few decades. We're super early. And so I think that no one should be put off about jumping in. There are many projects, many teams, small and large, going through their own journeys. And yeah, you can get started by just contributing and volunteering your own time and learning the ropes. And that can then lead to an offer of employment.